Art is everywhere. Look closely and you'll discover a whole world of art in Singapore. I'm Roshan Gidwani and I'm your Art Bus tour guide. And every week we drive across the country in search of different public artworks. Along the way, we meet artists, learn about different art mediums, and even try creating our own artworks. It's a day of art, learning, and fun. All aboard the Art Bus. Science and art, two worlds that can't come together? Well, I say anything is possible. In this episode, we see how artists use science and technology to create some interesting works of art. Let's meet the art tourists with us on the bus today. Hi everyone, I'm Roshan, your Art Bus tour guide. Welcome aboard! Yay! Fantastic. So today I want to get to know each and every one of you just a little bit better. So I'm going to start off over here. Hi, my name is Roshan. What's your name?
My name is Dawn.
Hi, I'm Eileen and I'm 21 this year and I love arts, especially performing arts.
Hi, I'm Dorothy.
My name is Janice. I love doing media art related stuff like film editing.
Hi, I'm Jules, and my form of art would be music because I'm making beats.
Hi, my name is Lawrence and I'm working in logistics. I like expression of beauty that's shown through art.
As we travel to our first location, I'm curious to find out what our art tourists are expecting to see. Today we're going to visit some science and technology related artworks. Any ideas of what kind of pieces we might see?
Animation? Is there animation? Things that you're going to see?
I heard it's light painting. That's cool.
Maybe a kind of mobile thing that when the wind blows, it moves and then it makes some design in the air.
I think it's more like the windmill structure and something added to it.
Some very creative answers. Let's see what's awaiting us at our first stop of the day, the Defense Science Organization. We get off the bus and we're greeted by a mass of brains. Yes, you heard me right. Consisting of 30 granite brains held up by steel stems, this sculpture, called Tropical Brain Forest, is meant to signify diverse talent. All right, everyone, let's take a look at the sculpture a little bit more closely. Now, there's a plaque over here. This sculpture is called Tropical Brain Forest. It was created by Miss Han Sai-po. Now, Tropical Brain Forest symbolizes the indigenous and diverse talents that make up DSO. Han Sai-po is one of Singapore's most prolific sculptors. A cultural medallion winner, Miss Han is particularly noted for her stone sculptures in organic forms. So, Lawrence, I wanted to ask you something. You mentioned that there was a bit of wordplay earlier on and how the sculpture is named Tropical Brain Forest instead of Tropical Rainforest. Could you explain?
The sculptor did a very good wordplay. She made a wordplay on the word rainforest, tropical rainforest. And it reminds me also that in a rainforest there's a diverse ecological mix, and maybe that's what the sculptor is trying to tell us, that a lot of different brains that produce great thoughts are coming together.
We're all very intrigued by this sculpture. With so many questions on our mind, it's a good thing we're joined by curator Tan Sher-yi, who is familiar with Miss Han's works. Hi, Sher-yi, nice to meet you. I'm Roshan, your Art Bus tour guide. Today, we're all here at the sculpture. Could you please tell us a little bit about this piece?
Okay, great. So, as you can see, it's made up of granite blocks that are shaped like brains. And these rocks were actually sourced locally from an abandoned quarry in Mandai.
From the formation of the sculpture to the quirky name, the entire sculpture comes together cohesively.
Right, so the brains looks like a canopy of trees, and the metal stands are the trunks. So that alludes to, the tropical, the rainforest or the brain forest that we have in the title. This is in a fountain, so it kind of represents the creative flow, the endless streams of creative ideas and inspiration. So these brains are constantly being nourished, it's never dry.
For this sculpture, Miss Han chose to work with one of her favorite mediums, granite. Now, I wanted to ask you something, Sherry. How is it that the sculpture is so detailed? How exactly was it made?
Well, if you can imagine, this was actually a rectangular block of granite. Ms. Han Tai Po actually handcrafted each and every one of these grains using handheld equipment. She chiseled and, polished and sculpted all these smooth grooves into it. She uses this method called a reductive method, where you take away from the material rather than add on to it. So if you work with ceramics and pottery, you add on, but this one you actually take away.
So it was one big block of
Yes,
granite,
exactly.
and then she made this detailed brain out of it. And she did it with each and every brain.
She did it with each and every brain.
We walk around with Sher-Yi so we can appreciate the intricacies of the sculpture even better.
You can try to touch the
grooves. Now, if we look at this piece, it's extremely layered. There's a bottom layer, and then it keeps ascending to the major brain in the middle. Why is this so?
Well, if you had all the brains or all the sculptures on the same level, you wouldn't be able to see the one behind. And this way, it leads your eyes to look at the one right in the middle. The way it's shaped, it is like a canopy of trees in a forest, and this is quite a natural formation. There are some trees which are higher than others, so it's not a very static
Piece.
display. It's quite organic in that sense.
It's quite dynamic as well.
It is quite dynamic, yes.
Sher-Yi also shares her thoughts on how science and art can come together.
How is art related to science and technology? But it's very, very correlated, because if scientists are not creative or imaginative, they can't experiment, they can't break new ground or come up with new ideas. So it's actually all very correlated, science, technology, and art.
It may seem like an easy process to create such precise detailing, but granite has a reputation of being a very unwieldy material. Everybody, smile. Working with granite is such a laborious process, and we're curious to find out how such a hard slab of rock can be turned into a beautiful sculpture just like this.
What really impressed me just now was the rainforest, because if on any other day if I walk past, I'll just see there's another, some stones, some granites. But just now when we really stop and look at it, it really makes us think, what is the artist trying to tell us? There are so many different interpretations. Why you shape a pyramid, why even granite was chosen.
We're heading to our next destination, where we'll get a better understanding of the hard work that goes into creating granite sculptures. Art Bus tourists, we're now here at Polystone, where we're going to learn how to make sculptures out of stone. Do you think it's an easy process? No. Let's find out. Working with stone requires a firm hand, and we're visiting Katrina, co-founder of Polystone, to shed some light on this material. Hi, Katrina.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
These are all the Art Bus tourists.
Hi, nice to meet you. Welcome to Polystone.
That's right. So today you're going to teach us how to create sculptures from stone.
That's right.
There are a wide range of natural stones which vary in their softness. Softer stones like limestone can be carved by hand, and Katrina gives us a quick demonstration.
This is a matte limestone, and I'm just doing a little relief work. I just started.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have the chisel that we use and a hammer, which is the most basic tool that we have. We always put the tool flat on the stone, never at an angle like this or you break your tool. Yeah. It always has to be flat.
Katrina, are these the only tools that you use?
No, this is just the starter tool.
Next up, we are given a quick overview of the various other tools that are needed to work with stone.
I'll show you the other tools that we need to use. I have different sizes for the tools. It all depends on the size of the work that we are doing.
For Katrina, working with stone has long been a labor of love.
You have to be patient. You have to see what's coming. Because it's 3D, you have to be able to see where is the highest point. Being able to see this 3D image in your head already is important. There's a lot of patience and control. You can't be in a hurry to do anything.
Creating stone sculptures entails a unique process which requires artists to take away from their canvas, not add to it.
When we're doing carving works, it's always about minusing off. We start from a piece like this. We decide where is the highest point, and then we use the chisel to remove the rest. It's always subtraction.
Katrina, I have a question to ask you. How long do you take to make a piece of art piece like this from this big piece of marble.
If I were to be doing something small like this, I would be choosing something smaller, probably half the size to begin with. Otherwise, it's just a lot of work to remove. Yeah, something like this will probably take a week to finish up. Yes, yeah.
We also learned that different stones require different degrees of work. We've seen how you work with limestone. Now can you teach us how to work with granite?
For granite, it's a lot harder than limestone or marble that you've seen here. With that, we have to bring out the big guns. Working on the granite, most of the time the tools would just wear off too quickly. You have to use a bigger tool and a harder tool. So it's about knowing the piece that you're doing.
Lines are drawn on the granite to mark off the contours of the sculpture.
As you start with a piece of stone, you would sketch it out on the stone. You may remind yourself where you want to shave off.
Some artists may prefer their sculpture to have a rough finish, but for those who want a smoother look, there's still one more step.
So guys, what do you think? Was it interesting?
Yes, it was really interesting. But how do you make it look smoother?
Oh, if you want to make it look smoother, then we have to do the polishing step. We have to use a polishing stone. I'll show you how this is done. With a bit of water, you go around all the different planes. So it takes a lot of time and you need a lot of patience to go through every area.
So why do you need to use water?
Oh, we need to use the water because it acts like a lubricant between the polishing stone and your stone surface.
The polishing stone, what is it made of?
Okay, it's made of sand, some polishing grits, diamond bits.
Now that we've seen how it's done, do you guys want to give it a shot?
Yeah, of course.
Hold it slightly lower. Yes, hold it steady, yeah. So don't be afraid to really work on it because we have a lot of layers to remove here.
Seeing how much fun our art tourists are having, I decide to jump in and give the chiseling a go.
Not a bad try at all. Why don't we try to do some polishing now, okay? You feel where the high points are. You try not to stay too much on one area, just go in big strokes.
We have been given a great overview of how stone sculptures are created, but now it's time to say goodbye and head over to our next stop. Katrina, I'd like to thank you so much for the workshop today.
Pleasure.
Didn't we have a great time, everybody?
Yes!
This is only our second stop. Let's keep it moving. Thank you so
All right,
much,
bye,
Katrina.
everybody.
Bye. Coming up, we continue to bridge the gap between art and science by visiting a place where a breakthrough in medical research was the inspiration for a rather unusual sculpture. We're only halfway through our art bus journey today, and we've already seen and learned a lot. Starting off with the intriguing tropical brain forest, followed by a fun lesson on how to work with stone. What's in store for us next? We're about to find out as we arrive at our next destination, Biopolis. Biomedical sciences and art don't seem like they'd fit together. But as we're learning today, art really has no boundaries. Let's find out more. We make our way down to the sculpture we will be exploring today. Now, this bronze sculpture was created by Mara G. Hasseltine. It weighs at 3,000 kgs, and it's called SARS Inhibited. It's distributed into 3 different pieces. There's one over here, there's one over here, and there's a third piece right over there. Fluid bronze lines dance gracefully, a direct contrast to what this sculpture actually represents, the active cleft of a SARS virus. In order to portray such a negative concept in an artistic manner, sculptor Miss Hasseltine employed a number of unique techniques. It's extremely reflective as well. You can see the sun hitting upon it.
I really admire it because it's so beautiful, especially when the sun shines on it, and then you can see sparks of light.
If you take a closer look, some of the lines are thinner, some of the lines are thicker, and then it curves right over here and down. The abstract nature of the sculpture allows viewers to develop their own personal interpretations of the work. What does it remind you of, this art piece in particular? Anybody?
Something evil our science fiction movie.
Why is that so, Lawrence?
Tentacles, the sharp edges and the sharp points.
Anybody else, what does it remind you of?
Reminds me of some DNA feelings.
Okay, so it could be part of your body and part of your DNA. We take some time to explore the artwork closely and realize that in addition to the two main pieces, there is a third, smaller sculpture which bears plenty of significance.
There seems to be a progression, and I look at the last sculpture as SARS fallen because it's almost in the water.
The artist has said that she is obsessed with natural beauty. So can any of you tell me how she dealt with the subject matter of SARS?
Must have been really difficult because SARS is a very ugly thing.
I agree with you, but don't you all think it really has come out to be a beautiful work of art?
Yes.
I think that the sculpture is very interesting because even though it looks really light, it's actually 3,000 kg. So I really like how she managed to make something so heavy look very, very light. When I first saw it, I didn't really think it was a virus, but I thought that it was a really nice piece of art.
We spend a bit more time exploring the sculpture before we head off to our next location. On the bus, we continue discussing our thoughts about the sculpture we have just seen. Art Bus Tours, today we've seen some artworks that combine science and art. Now, what are some of your favorite artworks that we've seen today?
I like SARS inhibited. This piece is so great because the artist made art out of science.
It's becoming clearer that despite seeming like polar opposites, science and art can come together and form beautiful sculptures. For our next stop, we're going right into the heart of the Central Business District. Art Bus tourists, we're now here at our next piece. It's slightly more abstract. Let's take a closer look. Let's go, everyone. Now, this piece is called Dual Universe, and it stands at 18 feet high. It was created to represent two forms intertwining, and these two forms are space and time. Created by architect Charles O. Perry, the bronze curves of Dual Universe have a sturdy yet flowing quality to them. Now, this piece is all about two forms that intertwine together. It's here to describe the mysterious universe and how there's a mathematical and scientific complexity to everything that we do. While at first glance it may come across as an entirely abstract piece, reading the plaque frames the way we see the work, telling us how we should be interpreting it. All right, everyone, we've had our fair share of art and science today. Where do you think we're headed next? But are you excited to find out?
Yes.
All right, back in the art bus, everybody. Let's go. If today's tour has taught us anything, it's that art and science can meet in the middle. And what's the perfect meeting point for science and art? Light. Next up, light becomes our brush, and darkness becomes our canvas. It's been a long day of seeking out artworks inspired by science. On today's trail, we have seen brains, a virus, and even an abstract depiction of the universe. Now, we're heading to our last stop of the day. Hi, Calvin. Nice to meet you. I'm Roshan, the Art Bus Tour Guide, and these are all the Art Bus tourists. Everybody say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Now, Calvin is a commercial photographer, and today he's going to teach us a special technique, and what's that?
Light painting.
Calvin is one of a small handful of photographers in Singapore who practices light painting. Light painting is a photographic technique in which light streaks in various shapes are made by moving a handheld light source. While it may seem as easy as clicking a button, there are actually many challenges to capturing a good shot.
The biggest challenge is always moving in the dark. Sometimes we can't even see where we are and how the framing of the photo is like. So we need to imagine how we are going to shoot. We can't get a perfect shot in one shot. So normally one shot will take like 1 hour, 2 hours. Okay, right now we need a dark background because we're going to shoot in total darkness. And for the aperture, I would recommend f8. Do a trial first. If you find that it is too bright or too dark, then you adjust your aperture.
What does the aperture actually do?
The aperture controls the amount of light coming into your sensor.
So what's the next step now, Calvin?
In the dark, you can't focus at all. What you need to do, switch on my torchlight, shine it to the front, and focus the front. And once it focuses, I'm going to switch it to manual focus.
Now, it's time for the most important aspect, the lights. We use both light sticks and LED bicycle lights. You're going to show us how to make art with these light sticks.
Definitely. Place your hand somewhere at your waist level and start spinning clockwise. After you spin the LED light, you're going to use the green light stick. You spin as you walk. Go around the spots where you did the light off.
Calvin, this is absolutely breathtaking, right, Art Bus Tourists? Yeah! Could you give us some pointers on how to make a great light painting just like this?
When you're spinning the light up in the middle, remember to tuck in your elbows tightly close to your body.
Art Bus Tourists, do you want to try it on your own? Yes! Okay, what do you say, Calvin?
Lights off, let's go do it!
Now with the lesson over, it's time for our art tourists to try their hand at their own light painting.
Basically, we have to take very small steps and keep our elbows and wrists locked and spin the circle as close to your body as possible.
There's a riot of colors in the dark as our art tourists spin their lights. However, even these seemingly simple steps are not easy to execute.
Initially, I thought that light painting was easy because I tried out before those sparkle photography. However, after attending this workshop in Art Bus, I find that it's really quite difficult and takes a lot of patience.
It's been a lot of fun spinning these lights around. Now I'm curious to see what the final pictures look like. Wow, look at that. You see that? Calvin, can you tell us what went wrong in this photo and what you perceived?
Actually, these are all very awesome photos.
Thank you, Calvin.
I couldn't have done that in my first time that I do light painting. So congratulations, you guys.
Good job, Art Bus Tourists. Today has been a great day of fun and learning. We've even seen how art and science combined can create beautiful pieces of art. And we also created an amazing light painting. I'm Roshan, and I'll see each and every one of you on the next episode of The Art Bus.